Chapter 4, Mishnah 13. The Mishnah lists different expressions that can be used to impose an oath on witnesses. If someone says to two witnesses, I impose an oath on you that you should come and testify on my behalf, or he says to them, I command you with an oath that you should come and testify on my behalf, or he says to them, I bind you with an oath that you should come and testify on my behalf. And in each case, the witness is then falsely denied having knowledge of the testimony. They are obligated to bring an offering. The Mishnah discusses making an oath with someone other than the name of God, with something other than the name of God. If he says to the witnesses, I impose an oath on you by the heaven and the earth that you should come and testify on my behalf, and they deny having knowledge of the testimony, they are not obligated to bring an offering, because the oath is only effective when a person swears in the name of God. The Mishnah gives examples of some of the names of God that make an oath effective. If he says to them, I impose an oath on you by the name of God that is spelled Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yud, Adonai, that you should come and testify on my behalf, or by the name of God that is spelled Yud, K, Vav, K, or by the name of God, Shaddai, the Almighty, or by the name of God, Tsevaos, Lord of Hosts, or by the descriptive names, the gracious, or the merciful, or by the descriptive names, the slow to anger, or the abundantly kind, or by any of the other descriptive names of God, and in each case the witness is then denied having knowledge of the testimony, they are liable to an offering. Having mentioned the names of God that can be used in an oath, the Mishnah discusses three other laws in which God's names are a factor. The first is in regard to the prohibition to curse God's name. If one curses any of those names, actual or descriptive, he is liable to the death penalty. These are the words of Rebbe Meir. But the sages rule that one is not liable to death unless he curses the specific name, which is the name of God that is spelled Yud, K, Vav, K. The second law in which God's name is a factor is the prohibition to curse parents. If one curses his father or his mother using any of those names, actual or descriptive, he is liable to death. These are the words of Rebbe Meir. But the sages rule that he is not liable to death unless he curses them with one of the names of God that may not be erased. That is, one of the actual names, not the descriptive ones. The third law. Someone who curses himself or his friend using any of those names, actual or descriptive, violates the negative commandment. The Mishnah teaches that the oath of testimony does not actually have to be an oath, but can also be a curse that the claimant places on the witnesses if they refuse to testify. If the claimant says to the witnesses, may God strike you if you do not come and testify on my behalf, or if he hears someone reading the verse in the Torah with the words, may God strike you, and he says to the witness, so may God strike you if you do not testify on my behalf, and the witnesses then falsely deny knowledge of the testimony, they are obligated to bring an offering. This is an example of the curse written in the Torah in reference to the oath of testimony. The Mishnah records a dispute between Rebbe Meir and the sages whether an implied curse is effective. If the claimant says to the witness, may God not strike you if you testify on my behalf, implying that he should strike you if you do not testify, or if he says to them, may God bless you if you testify on my behalf, implying that he should curse you if you do not testify, or if he says, may God benefit you if you testify on my behalf, implying that he should harm you if you do not testify, and the witness is then falsely denied knowledge of the testimony, Rebbe Meir obligates the witnesses to bring an offering because what a person implies when he speaks is considered as if he actually said it. Accordingly, it is considered as if the witnesses heard the actual curse from the claimant. But the sages do not obligate the witnesses to bring an offering.